What's up, everybody? Welcome back to After the Huddle. As always, it's your boy Jacob, Jared to my left here. Uh, Another week of the playoffs. Another start of the playoffs is down. We had some great games. Texans and Browns. Surprised how that one went. They had the Lions and the Rams. That was a really good game. Came down to the wire. Surprised with the Bucks. A lot to talk about as far as that. Um, we got pretty good show for y'all today. We're gonna go over some stuff. I got some graphics to show, so some arguments, some questions that I was gonna ask Jared. I got a little treat for y'all. Got a little clip of my homeboy who's a Bucks fan after the Bucks beat the Eagles. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. Oh man, it was crazy. But like I said, we had a great weekend of football. We'll start off here.
Breaking news. The Cowboys are keeping Mike McCarthy.
Oh, Mike McCarthy staying?
I just got the notification. It said Mike McCarthy is staying.
Man, I'm surprised about that one. I ain't gonna lie. I'm surprised about that.
Well,
I didn't expect for him to keep his job. I really didn't.
I didn't either. I think Belichick is good. Well, if he wasn't getting fired, Belichick was probably going to test out Dallas, see what they're talking about. I fully expect that. But now, if they're keeping McCarthy, I think Harbaugh is the front runner for the Atlanta job. Belichick could go to the Chargers.
I mean, I heard Harbaugh was thinking about going to the Chargers himself. You know, he had an interview with Los Angeles. Obviously we don't know the insider information as far as like how well that went with their interview, but I mean we'll figure it out obviously in the future when it comes to it. Some other news, like we talked about Bill Belichick. He went and had an interview with Atlanta this week. I won't be surprised if he makes a move to Atlanta. But in my opinion, I think the Chargers for him is a better fit because, they're in the middle. Atlanta's still in the rebuild process. And I don't think that Bill Belichick wants to go through the rebuild process again.
Well, the only reason I say that for Belichick to go into Atlanta is because look at the division. It's a very, very winnable division.
Oh, it's definitely winnable. Oh, for those who don't know, I got me a new laptop that I'm on. If the quality of the camera looks different, I do plan on getting me a personal camera to use. Got me a little mic too as well. Setup's coming along. We're putting it together. We're getting it going. Mm-hmm. Then we just got to get my boy over there a laptop. I got one for Christmas this year. Yep. And I finally got everything situated and set up so that I'm running a different style now. We're gonna try to get more intricate. And in fact, That's one of the reasons why I can do with the clips now because of my computer, and I can clip it down and transfer it and stuff like that. So, some other news that we have heard from across the league as far as especially losing teams. I haven't heard anything about so far as Nick Sirianni in the Eagles head coaching situation. Doesn't look good, but it's most likely possible that he comes back. I think he's going to be back another season.
I think he does come back, but I think the OC and the DC get fired. That's including Matt Patricia.
Yeah, I could see that. We'll get into the Eagles defense a little bit later. I got something I want to talk about with them. But definitely is the offensive coordinator. Brian Johnson, he's so fucking bad. He is so bad. And it's about time that the Eagles just cut their losses on him. He wasn't a good hire for the year. You got 11 weeks into the season, you were or 12 weeks into the season, you were 10-1. And people started to get tape on that offense. And when you get tape on people, you can start game planning better. And I feel like that happened because earlier in the season, we saw the Eagles winning a lot of games that they were getting outplayed in. To be honest with you,
Yep.
they were getting outplayed in those games and still finding a way to win them. So I won't be surprised, especially if they fire both of them. But if they somehow keep Brian Johnson, bro, Eagles fans are going to be pissed.
The city may just burn.
Bro, they are going to be mad if that happens.
The city may just burn. I mean, we're talking about an all-time historic, what you want to call it, like not a breakdown, collapse. You start off 10-1. Wasn't their only game lost to that Jets game? At that. Oh, here we go. We had to switch sides.
You just like being on the right, dog.
But I think it was 10-1. I think they lost to the Jets. I think that's what happened. But I mean, after that game, they finished 1-5, 1-6. I mean, that's bad, dude.
No, it was bad. They completely dismantled at the end of this season, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more. In fact, let's go ahead and get into these games. We'll start with this. The first game they had for the weekend. We had the Texans roll over the Browns 45-14. CJ Stroud goes 16-21, 274 yards, 3 touchdowns, like he's been there his whole life, like he's a poised veteran, just tearing apart man coverage. The Browns offense, Browns defense, we talked about it all year about how good they were. How good they were, and I mean, they didn't give up a lot of yards. They did give up a good bit of points. I will say that. So they weren't really number one in points. I think they were giving up somewhere along the lines of like 28 points a game, which is not good, obviously. But I think a lot of that was dealt to like having bad quarterback play in the beginning of the season. You feel what I'm saying? Jared, I wanted to ask you this because it got brought up to me. And the real question that I was going to ask is, do the Texans have a chance to beat the Ravens? But this question was brought up to me yesterday, and I didn't know how to answer it just yet. But is CJ Stroud already a top 5 quarterback as a rookie? I mean, there's 3 guys I know for a fact I'm not taking over him. I'm not taking Mahomes. I'm not taking him over Mahomes. I'm not taking him over Burrow. I'm not taking him over Josh Allen. You know, Herbert is like on the fringe. You know what I mean? So like outside of those 3 guys, who can you really put over CJ Stroud right now? How well he's played this season.
That's fair. I mean, he just lightened up the scoreboard, and I was not expecting him to drop 3 on a Cleveland defense that's top 5 this year.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Name your top 5 quarterbacks in the league right now. I already know your first 3. It's Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, and any which way you put them. Who's the next two top guys?
It's hard because a lot of those got hurt today. So I'm not today.
I'd probably put Lamar at 4.
I was about to say run the 3 again. Run those first 3.
Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, and then Burrow. And then Lamar.
I'd probably put Lamar 4 and then CJ at 5.
That's what I'm saying. I'd probably put CJ at 5 already. If this is a sighting of things to come with CJ Stroud, then there's no way that I cannot put him anything less than top 5 in the league.
Yeah.
I mean, look who he's throwing the ball to, bro. I mean, Nico Collins, he had a good year, but he had a good year because of who his quarterback is. Tank Dell
before he got hurt.
Yeah, Noah Brown, like he was with the Cowboys and he's like a 3rd string, 4th string there, and has emerged every single time Nico Collins gone down. Who has the next big game? Noah Brown, for some odd reason, gets 100 and something yards and a touchdown.
He's now on IR too, by the way.
Yeah, which is going to hurt them. But
yeah, another thing I think that actually hurt the Houston next year is either if Bobby Slowick staying or if he's leaving. Because what's DeMeco Ryans?
Is that their D coordinator?
That's our OC.
Their OC?
Like right now, he's getting talks about being a possible head coach.
I mean, hey, bro, that's the problem when you're a good team. You know, you lose players, you lose coordinating. Exactly, you get poached. You know what I mean? People see people in the Super playoffs and Super Bowl, and they're like, "Well, we got to get him here. If he's doing this there, we got to get him here."
And like I was saying, so who's to say CJ's not a product of what Slowick's doing.
You might be. I think you're right to an extent. Obviously, you need good coaching in the NFL. If any sport out of anything, basketball, out of all the four major sports, basketball, hockey, baseball, and football, coaching is most important, in my opinion, in football because of how many players you have on the field at a time. You know what I'm saying? Pitching, baseball can be won with good pitching.
Yeah, I mean, look at the no hitters.
If you have an ace pitcher, you can win baseball games. Basketball, I've seen guys drop 50, 60 points and basically put the team on their back and win the game. You feel
Kobe
what I'm
when
saying?
he dropped 80.
Yeah, like you can do stuff like that in these hockey. If you have good goalie play and you're shutting out, you're most likely going to win these games because you have good goalie play. In football, it's different. If you have a good quarterback, bad offensive line, you don't that might not converge nicely together, and vice versa. Now, if you have a good offensive line and a bad quarterback, it'll make your quarterback look better. But also, if you have good quarterback, bad wide receivers, we see it with Patrick Mahomes. Now that defense is carrying, but if they didn't have that defense, do you really think that offense would be carrying that team to playoff victories? No.
I will say this though, we have to give Laramie Tunsil his flowers.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's turned into a top 5 left tackle in the league.
I mean, he literally made Myles Garrett into Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Bro, I was surprised. I didn't realize how good he was until I saw him against Myles Garrett. You know what I mean? With CJ Stroud back there, it's just different. You know, you had Davis Mills back there the first time they played the Browns. I didn't think it would account for that much. You know, I thought CJ hit the playoffs for the first time. You know, these are rookies. You know, it's just Texans team just didn't seem like they were ready. But then they just proved to everybody that they are. And they're 1 year into a brand new system. 1 year, Jared. I don't think people realize how astronomically crazy that is for a rookie head coach and a rookie QB to go out there, not only win their division, but get to the playoffs and win a playoff game. That is very hard to do in today's pro league.
Yeah, it is.
It blows my mind how good this season has been for the Texans. It really has. It blows my mind. And as a person who is praying for a Texans-Lions Super Bowl, we'll see where it goes, but I mean, I want it.
I was really hoping we was going to get possibly a Browns-Lions game, but that didn't work. Joe Flacco finally fizzled out.
Yeah, which I heard some commentators in the beginning of the game, that's what they were saying. They were like, oh, well, you know, he came off his couch for a reason. You know, we've seen a lot of backup quarterback play this year, you know, and eventually you see it fizzle out. And sure enough, it fizzled out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It looked good in the beginning. Like they were trading scores at first, and the Browns were up 14-10. And I was like, man, this is going to be a good-ass game. But there was just too many big plays. The Texans were rolling, bro. Like so many big. I remember I texted you. I was like, bro, what's up with all these big plays? Breaking tackles. Like they couldn't tackle to save their lives. The Browns couldn't.
Nope.
You know, so and it was evident on that which touchdown was it? Not. I don't think it was their the third touchdown that they scored. You know. Like right before halftime, I think. And I texted you and I was like, bro, what's up with all these big plays? Like there were so many big plays in this game. It was crazy.
Was that the Nico Collins touchdown?
No, the Nico Collins touchdown was the first touchdown that they scored.
Okay.
I had texted you. I'm going back real quick, checking it out. Yeah, I mean, we're an hour and a half into the game, and I texted you. Oh no, we were 15 minutes into the game or something like that. No, I take that back because it started at 3:30. So we were about an hour into the game. So it's still the first half. And I texted you and I was like, bro, what's up with all these big plays?
Yeah,
Like, there
because
were
it was
many.
left and right. Like you had a long pass from Cleveland, you had that deep bomb from Stroud, and then you turn right back around. They it was back and forth until probably the second quarter.
Yeah, it was bad. It was really bad. It really was. But you got to give the Texans their credit. I didn't have them winning this game. I know a lot of America was split down the middle with this one.
Yeah.
But Jared, do the Texans have a chance to beat the Ravens this weekend?
If the CJ Stroud shows up that he showed up last week, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And that offensive line's got to play like they were playing last week too.
Well, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say Tunsil's got to carry over that game to him shutting down Myles Garrett. He's got to turn that over and keep Clowney in check.
He definitely does. The question, and this is a slight question I want to ask you as well. And this kind of goes towards both the 49ers as well as the Ravens, all right? Both these teams have sat their players week 18. So that means they were out from week 17 to week 18, week 18 to the wild card to this weekend. It's going to be 3 weeks with no football, bro. No football whatsoever outside of practice. And practice, no matter what, does not
it doesn't give you live game reps.
It doesn't give you live game reps. So this is a slight question I wanted to ask you regarding both the Ravens and the 49ers. Do you think that these teams are going to come out rested or rusty? You see what I'm saying?
See the rate.
They did it to rest. They did it to rest these players. So do they come out rested and just start exploding, or do they come out rusty and have problems with the timing?
It could honestly go both ways. Yeah, that's the issue.
I think we'll see a 1-1.
Yeah.
I think one of these teams is going to come out rusty, and one of these teams is going to come out rested and just blow over people. And I think that the team that's going to come out rusty is going to be the Ravens.
That's what I was going to say too. I was going to say.
I think that the team that's going to be rusty is the Ravens. Now, having a running game allows you to help with that because of how well they run the football. Timing and running plays is different than timing and passing plays. You feel what I'm saying? Like with passing plays, the timing has to be on point most of the time, unless the play is extended. But most of the time, when you call a pass play, it's supposed to be boom, drop back, set your feet, throw the ball to a guy breaking out of his route, catch it, either run with it or go down. You feel what I'm saying? So. Right. It's a lot of timing when it comes to passing, if a lot of people don't know that. And with running, it's different. However, I think that the Texans are going to come out, and I'm not saying that this is an ideal situation because Lamar Jackson is fucking good. I don't care what anybody says. You know what I mean? You can call him a running back all you want, and I've always been critical on running quarterbacks because we've never seen that kind of style of play win a Super Bowl. And until you can show me that style of play is going to win a Super Bowl, then I'm going to criticize it. I'm going to be critical of it because I haven't seen it succeed at the highest level. All right. So whether you have thoughts on Lamar Jackson or not, him in the playoffs has not been good.
Fair.
Lamar Jackson in the playoffs has not been a good QB at all. So he's got to show me that he's going to be able to even against this Texans team, because this Texans team is not no slouch. They are a good team. They're not a great team. They are a good team that can possibly win this game if you fumble the bag. So, I'm telling you, Dwayne, I think the Ravens are going to come out rusted. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say they're going to lose the game. We're not on our picks yet. We'll pick those eventually, but. It's gonna be. I'm leaning that way. I'm not gonna lie. I'm leaning a little bit towards the Texans. I really am.
I'm thinking behind
Stroud. showed me something crucial this past week. He showed me
Shit.
something for real.
Past week, he's been doing it all year. That's what caught my eye.
But
I've been saying it.
Playoffs, bro. It ramps up differently in the playoffs. It's a different feel, and the fact that he had the poise to sit back there and do it. This isn't like a Jordan Love situation where he sat behind somebody good for 3 years. Okay,
Fair.
This man was thrown into the fire from week 1 and has exceeded expectations for this team off the get-go. CJ and Nico have been balling together. Facts. That's what we were talking about. Nico, who's Nico Collins without CJ Stroud right now? He's a nobody that we've never heard of before. Now all of a sudden CJ Stroud gets there and he's a top 10 statistically wide receiver in the league.
Look, I'll tell you, I knew Tank Dell was about to be a problem when we played him in the preseason against Houston. You know, I don't remember if we won that game or not. I don't think we did. But
I was high on Jaden Reed coming out the draft. I talked to you about it all year long, about how I was really high on Jaden Reed, and man, he came on real strong at the end of the season. And he didn't even really have a catch this last game. Romeo Doubs absolutely killed we'll get into that Cowboys game in a little bit later. But man, that was a crazy game. Speaking of another game, Dwayne, close your eyes for this one. The Chiefs handled the Dolphins 26-7. Patrick Mahomes with a pretty good performance, 23 of 41, 262 and a touchdown. Rashee Rice, 8 receptions, 130 yards and a touchdown. That was huge for them, I think, getting him involved, getting his confidence up, keeping him involved in this offense. What they need, because Travis Kelce hasn't lived up to Travis Kelce name. Yeah. But Jared, they did this in sub-zero weather. My poor Finns were dead in that cold. That's what I'm saying. They did it in sub-zero weather, basically. Bro. It was the Dolphins before this game. A lot of people don't know this. In 70 degrees or less weather. 70.
It's
That's
70?
not even 70 degrees Fahrenheit.
It's the same stat that I talked about the last time I was at the crib.
Well, yeah. Remember a while back when you talked about how cold it was?
Yeah.
And they were bad in cold weather games where it's below like a certain amount. But I'm talking just 70 degrees, Jared. It's just 70. They are 6-14. Yeah. They are 6-14 outside of anything under 70 degrees weather.
That's literally almost a whole season.
That's what I'm saying. That's a little bit more than a season. Yeah. Now, this is with like Tua and people like that, like Tua and how long he's been there. Yeah, like for some reason, whenever y'all get into a situation where it's a little bit cooler than what it's like in Miami, all hell breaks loose, and you can't seem to win a game.
I do want to ask, is Ladarius Sneed the only corner that can cover Tyreek Hill?
Man, I mean, Tyreek Hill had a decent game. He did have that big touchdown. A lot of people said it was a bad throw still, but Tyreek Hill made it into a touchdown.
Well, I mean, that's just Tyreek being Tyreek, but I mean.
Yeah, which you expected him, but nobody else besides him was stepping up, bro. Tua wasn't playing well. They couldn't run the football. Where was Jalen Waddle? He's still missing and is on back of milk cartons right now. I don't know. I don't even know who their tight end is anymore. I know they were banged up.
Durham Smythe.
Yeah. I know they were banged up defensively. Bradley Chubb's gone. Ready to trade Xavier Howard. Yeah, Xavier Howard didn't play well. Armstead didn't play well. I don't know who Kohu is.
I'm guessing a linebacker or a lineman, one of the two. Sounds like it would be one.
I mean, need a tight end. You absolutely need a tight end. Yeah, that's what I was just about to bring up. Y'all definitely need a tight end. I was very surprised a few years ago when y'all let Gesicki go.
That was last year. I was just about to bring that up.
I was really surprised when he was a good red zone target for them.
Yeah.
So I was highly surprised when they let him go. They didn't really have nobody to back him. They need to invest in somehow doing a power running game because it's all finesse and speed. And when you go up against these good teams with good defenses, most of the time, these guys can get sideline to sideline on your nickel cornerback. Okay. Yeah. I mean, Jalen Ramsey, I'm not going to sit here and act like Jalen Ramsey had a crazy season, but he played well enough for him to still be a number one guy on a team.
Yeah.
And you need people outside of him.
Look, bro, his gritty is one of the
His gritty got him fired.
Oh
That's
my
a good
God.
one.
That game-winning touchdown he scored against Buffalo this year with us, when we beat Buffalo the first time, horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Mag doing it together, horrible. Get off the fucking field doing it.
Yeah, that shit was.
It was so bad.
Gross. It was gross. It really was. But Jared, I want to ask you, how impressed were you by this Chiefs win? You know what I mean?
I wouldn't say impressed. It's just more the fact like Kansas City actually has a wide receiver that can catch the fucking ball.
Yeah.
You know, because that would have been the main. That's going to be the main issue in the playoffs. Who's going to catch the ball? You know, because you got Rice dropping 130 and a touchdown, so now that's on tape. Travis Kelce has not been Travis Kelce all year, and it seems like they can't get pass interference calls for shit. So, but I do want to give props to Mahomes for playing in that weather and that big old chunk of his helmet just missing.
Yeah, that part was crazy to me when he got hit and he lost like a chunk of his helmet. I was like, holy hell, what's these helmets made out of?
Did you know that helmet switch required a timeout and they didn't call a timeout? He just walked over and switched his helmet and just walked back to the huddle.
Wow, of course, fucking Patrick Mahomes. Of course he did. You think I'm surprised by that? Hell no, I'm not surprised by that.
No, for real.
But Jared, I want you to go a little spew here real quick because I got to do something real fast. But how dangerous are these Chiefs? Now, this team hasn't shown that they were as good as they were in the past, you know, especially offensively. And in this game coming up, the Bills are favored over them by 2.5 points. Now, do you think that that's a fair assumption? Do you think that the Bills deserve to be favored over the Chiefs in this game? And give if so, if yes or no, give me a why. Do something real quick.
I don't know about the 2. I think the only reason they're getting that 2 is because it's in Buffalo. To be real with you, first time in Mahomes' career that he's got to go on the road to play a game. But I do agree with Tracy. I think Kansas City should be kind of dangerous coming up in this next game. Buffalo's banged up on defense bad, and I think you could beat them running the ball. If you can get the ball running, if Pacheco can run the ball nice, then you might actually have something. As long as people can catch the fucking ball, dude, because like that's been the main issue all game for every game, basically, is nobody can catch the ball. Nobody can catch the ball. Travis Kelce, basically, I think he's got 5 touchdowns on the year, which is strange as shit because we've seen him drop like 10 to 12 in a season. I do think it's part of the Taylor Swift thing, just saying. But I mean, once you look at it, Kansas City's defense has been top 5 almost all year. So, I mean, as long as they can get turnovers, which we know Josh Allen can turn the ball over on any given Sunday, like he always has, I think Kansas City can win this game. Not by the offense. I think the defense can actually hold Josh Allen and, you know, keep him around to where they're actually in the game still. Now, I'm not saying Kansas City's just going to hold them to fucking 7 points. You know, because that's kind of impossible, almost damn near, to hold Buffalo's offense to 7 points. We've seen it happen before. We've seen the Jets do it. We've seen the Jets hold them to under 17. So,
I agree.
I think if the Chiefs want to win this next game, it's got to be a defensive game.
Excuse me. Now I understand what you're saying here. Now, I'm going to give you the flip side of this, okay? I think that 2.5 is well-deserved. Dangerous as a loaf of wheat bread. Tracy, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just the only thing I'm saying is that the Bills definitely deserve to be favored. Okay, they've won like 6 in a row. Number one, first of all, they've played really well in the back half of the season. They got the most momentum. They're the hottest team in the league right now. They beat the Chiefs already in Arrowhead. Okay. Also, at home, all right, at home, in the last, I think, like 18 games at home, or in the last 10 games at home, in the last 18 games, they've been 8-2 at home. 8-2 at home, 4-4 on the road. So they have a little bit of cowboy syndrome. They are 8-2 at home. They score about 5 points more per game. They hold their opponents about 5 less points a game. More touch. Josh Allen has a better touchdown to interception ratio in those at home compared to on the road. He has more yards per game than at home compared to on the road. He himself plays better in Buffalo than he does on the road. So, I mean, I know you're going to go with the Chiefs this week, partly because of how much you hate Buffalo. I think this is the year, bro. I'm not saying that Buffalo is going to make the Super Bowl. Okay,
and I thought about it too.
This is the year that they get over the Kansas City hump. You feel what I'm saying? Because every single time Josh Allen has had to face Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, or had to even come close to getting to Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, they have failed. Okay, obviously the worst one being the 12 seconds left to go in the game type shit. Josh Allen is Phillip Rivers, Lamar Jackson, Mac Jones, Skylar Thompson, and Mason Rudolph. I don't disagree. I don't disagree. Okay, I'm not disagreeing with the competition that Josh Allen has had to face. But they've also never been in this position where they've had to face a really good team in the playoffs at home. You feel what I'm saying? Like they played. I think they played Cincinnati in Buffalo last year, and I think that was the one chance that he's had in his entire career to play against a good team at home, and they failed. Obviously. You know, we saw what happened last year against the Bengals, but I sincerely think that the Chiefs falter this week on the road. It's different. It's just it's different. It's something that this team has literally never had to deal with as long as Patrick Mahomes has been the quarterback there.
Yeah.
Okay.
First time on the road.
You've never had to go on the road in the playoffs and play a game outside of playing in the Super Bowl. So you got to have to show me. Show me what you can do on the road. If they do that, then we'll talk about next week. We'll talk about how the Bills need to shake this shit up because they keep getting to the same spot every year and losing.
Yeah.
All right. Tracy, I hope you're still in here. Got something nice for you. We're going to talk about how the Bucs dominated the Eagles 32-9. Jared, 32-9.
Bro, I went to sleep listening to this game, and I woke up. I was like, I wonder who won the game. I wonder what the final score was. I looked. I was like, well, I'm going back to sleep.
Jared, 32-9, Jared, against a team who is 10-1 to start the season. What are we doing here, people? Like what is this?
A historical collapse. That's what it is.
I mean, look at Baker Mayfield's stat line, bro. 22 of 36, 337 yards and 3 touchdowns. By the way, this is the first time that a Tampa Bay quarterback ever has thrown for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns in a playoff game.
Yep, and that's Baker. That's 1 year removed from Tom Brady.
Including Brady. That's including Brady, Brad Johnson, Trent Dilfer, all the guys, Doug Williams, everybody. 300 where are all the Philly brethren at now? Oh, speaking of which, man, Jared, you gotta listen to what this man says, bro.
Philadelphia Eagles. Y'all sorry ass bitches fucked around and lost. That bullshit. Big Bake over here. Get your ass in the oven, motherfuckers. We in this bitch. We in this bitch. That bull.
Yeah. Yo, when he said Big Bake, get your ass in the oven, I fucking lost it, bro.
So I was texting him during the game. I'm like, when they went up like 13-0, I'm like talking shit. He was like, nah, not yet.
Not yet.
And then I was like, son, y'all balling right now. He's like, shh. He's like, nah,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
baking right now.
We
I'm like, I'm
baking
done
right
with you,
now.
son.
Not that we baking right now. Yo. Bro, Tracy, that shit was funny as hell, bro. When you said Big Bake out here, get your ass in the oven, yo, I was done. That shit was too funny. Oh my god.
I hope Tampa gets another win so we can get over to this dude's house and do the game with him.
Oh man. Well, you know he likes the Lions too. He's more of a Bucks fan than the Lions fan.
Either,
so
yeah,
he
either
said
way.
he's gonna root. He said he's gonna root for the Bucks because they got to go up against each other. We both think that the Lions are gonna win that game now.
Tampa and Detroit get to the game together, right? We go to this man's house. He's got a Tampa jersey on right here, and he's got a Lions jersey on in the back.
Like Mama Kelsey, huh? He got a half and half jersey on. Front of it, he got, a 6 with the Mayfield. On the back, he got what's it called? Amon-Ra, the 14 for Amon-Ra St. Brown. That shit would be great.
Oh,
bro.
man. But this was a surprising game.
Very, very surprising. Very surprising. So Jared, the question I wanted to ask you behind this game, yeah, bro. The question I wanted to ask you for this one was, what's the off-season moves that the Eagles need to do in order to get back to winning?
Well, we talked about it earlier with them firing firing the.
Well, I'm asking, like, what would if you were the GM right now? You say you're Howie Roseman, okay, and you're like, all right, we have a really talented roster. We had Kelsey retiring. That's going to be a problem. We got some guys coming up on big paydays. That's going to be an issue. Is this like a last year window for them this coming season before, the salary cap hits start to roll in and more people start to retire, like Fletcher Cox or Brandon Graham or Lane Johnson, what would you do if you were a GM of this team to get this team back into winning?
This is more of a question for Cozy, but I would say you got to fix the defense. They're really old on the defense. You got to get a little younger.
Yeah.
Slay's banged up. I think Slay got carted off the field, honestly. So that does not help at all. The safeties are banged up, so we got to get a safety. You just trade for Kevin Bynard. So I get that, but he's still up there in age. So you still need a younger player in the safety. Your D line is pretty much straight with Nolan. I don't know if Nolan Smith is playing more of an outside linebacker or a DN role. So you're straight there. You're straight with the D tackle with Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. I think you need a right end. I think it's the right end.
Well, let's talk about that defense a little bit, Jared. I want you to look at something. Look at this, okay? The Eagles last season ranked first in opponents' yards per play, opponents' pass yards per game, sacks. They were second in total yards per game and 8th in points per game, okay? This year, they have everything below bottom 20 outside of sacks. Sacks, they're tied 19th. So opponents' yards per play, they're 24th. Passing yards per game, they're 31st. Opponent total yards per game, they're 26th. Opponents' points per game, 30th. This defense this year has been terrible, especially compared to what it was last season. So the fact that they're even going through this right now. Did I make it? Yeah, you made it. We're about halfway through. This is about this is the third game we're doing. But yeah, I mean, this Eagles defense has been terrible. Like, look, this was the Buccaneers on Monday night. This is the Buccaneers on Monday night. Okay, look at yards after the catch. 219 yards over after the catch, bro. 219 yards. 64.9%, about 65 of their passing yards were yards after the catch. Like you texted it to me, you were like, bro, you texted me the Steelers, but the Eagles, they couldn't tackle. Like, bro, every team that we saw lose this weekend could not tackle. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Outside of the Rams and Lions game, which we'll talk about in a little bit, this game was crazy. How they couldn't tackle.
And that's just kind of like more of a problem for, with all the teams that couldn't tackle. Cleveland, Philly, you got to learn how to tackle more.
Facts. The
Steelers. I don't know. Something happened the year after T.O.
went to Super Bowl with McNabb. What do you mean?
Are you talking about a collapse like how Philly just did? No, I'm not sure on that part. I remember when they went. I just don't remember what happened after. Wait, nope.
Oh, the old AJ Brown situation. Yeah. I don't know if AJ Brown's going to be back. That's going to be a big issue.
Yeah.
I think he wants out. I don't think he wants to stay there anymore. Either that or he wants Brian Johnson fired, and he'll come back if you fire him. But outside of that, it's not happening. Started off hot. They did. They started off good. Collapsed. Yep. It was bad. It's one of the worst collapses I've ever seen. Not the worst, but one of the worst. It really is.
Who is the worst?
Who's the worst collapse I've ever seen? Man. I want to say Pittsburgh. There was a year, not too long ago, but there was a year with Ben Roethlisberger where they won I think 12 straight games, 11 straight games, something like that. And then they went 13-3 and then got knocked out of the first round of the playoffs. Like them or the Packers when I wouldn't really say Dallas. We expect this from Dallas. We were going to talk about that game next. We expect this. We expect them to lose in the playoffs nowadays.
I want to ask you. I was listening to the Games with the Games with Names podcast earlier, right? And they brought up one of the Dallas games, and actually, it was a matter of fact. That show I sent y'all earlier. I sent you earlier with the Giants versus Bills game.
Yes,
that's that game.
Okay.
Well, it's not that game, but it's talking about that game.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's how it ended. It's how Buffalo missed that field goal to lose the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah.
And so they're talking about what is your top 5 missed field goals moments, and they brought up Tony Romo's fuck up.
Yeah, that would be on my top 5. That would be on my top 5.
And then they said, I don't know if it's true or not. Besides, until last year, but I think they said Dallas hasn't won a playoff game since that happened before last year or whenever they won their last game.
Yeah, because they won one last year against the Bucks. No. I don't know. I mean, we'll see how it goes with the Eagles in the offseason, but I don't think they're gonna shake back from this. like they had played in the last couple of years. They got to find a better offensive coordinator. Obviously, we've talked about that all year long with them. But you got to give credit to the Bucks. You know, they had a good game plan coming in, good game plan defensively. No AJ Brown meant that you could try to cover up Devontae Smith as much as possible, but he ended up still basically killing that whole team.
He didn't play, did he?
AJ Brown, no, he did not. Devontae Smith played. He had a good game. But nobody outside of him was making plays. You know what I mean? Like, nobody outside of him was making plays.
I will say this, Cozy, I know you're going to listen to this, so when you hear this, I bet on Quez Watkins getting 2 catches, and he got 5.
Yeah, I had a Mike Evans touchdown. That's the one that kind of ruined it for me. I missed out on that Mike Evans touchdown. He dropped one in the beginning of the game.
Yeah, I missed out on that one too.
He had it. He dropped it in the beginning of the game. Fucked it up. But
I think I was 2 or 3 away from the Rams, from hitting with the Rams.
Yeah.
And I had Puka scoring. I had Puka over 90 yards.
Hey, I had the Lions winning. I had Amon-Ra St. Brown scoring a touchdown. I didn't get it.
Dude, that run game just disappeared.
Oh, yeah. And that's another thing they're going to have to do. They're going to have to run the ball more. And not with your quarterback, with your actual running back.
There's a thing saying that Jalen could possibly have arthritis in his knee. The same injury or the same issue Todd Gurley had.
Ooh, that's not good. That is not good.
So that may be a thing to where we haven't been seeing him run the ball so much.
Well, all right. Well, let's move on to the next game. We have the Packers. Excuse me. Yeah, the Packers upset the Cowboys 48-32. Sorry. Love goes 16-21, 272 and 3 touchdowns. Aaron Jones, he chips in with 21 carries for 118 yards and 3 touchdowns. I mean, they just completely decimated this Cowboys team.
Yep.
From the start. Literally, they got the ball first. They chose to receive, drove down the field, down their throat, scored on them, and said, "What are you going to do?" And they didn't do nothing.
And the final score is not what it doesn't show it was a good game. Those 32 points, a lot of those points.
I mean, it's still a 16-point. It's still a 16-point victory, but it was even more than that. A lot of that shit was garbage time.
I do like Christian Watson.
Romeo Doubs is going crazy right now. I like Jaden Reed. He's my favorite guy on that.
I had him as anytime scorer, but he didn't do anything.
No, Romeo Doubs was the one that went off in that game.
Yeah,
and that's the thing about this Packers team is that they have talent all around the board in the wide receiver room. Romeo Doubs
really,
is good.
really young.
Yeah, Christian Watson is good if he can stay healthy. He's hurt a lot. That's his only issue. And then Jaden Reed is a monster. Well, I told you he was going to be a monster coming out of Michigan State. I watched him play when he was playing in the Big Ten, and he was really good. So I had no doubt in my mind about Jaden Reed. I am more shocked on this game than I am on the Eagles game. That's the bet I like this week. Oh, okay. Yeah, I like a Christian Watson touchdown. I like Christian Watson touchdown.
Who does Green Bay play?
San Francisco.
Oh, a rival game.
Yeah. So, yeah, this game shocked me on the side of Dallas. Dallas had played well at home all year long. They were going against a team who was terrible defensively. And then on top of that, I mean, Jordan Love was playing really well at the end of the season, but I didn't expect him to play like fucking Aaron Rodgers. George Kittle, anytime touchdown. Yeah. I like a Christian McCaffrey anytime touchdown.
Well, that's a given.
Yeah.
That's a given. But do you think Green Bay's defense could hold up against that firepower?
No. And then that's another thing. But I will say this. The Packers, I think you brought this up to me, or somebody brought this up to me. The Packers have played really well on the road compared to playing in Lambeau.
Okay.
They have not played well in Lambeau as well as that they have played on the road this season. So I'm kind of leaning towards the Packers with the points because I think it's like a 9 or 10 point spread right now. So I would probably take the Packers with that, but I still think that San Francisco is going to win this game.
Fair enough.
You know,
all right. Let me ask you this: do you think they key more in on the run game and make Purdy throw the ball, and Purdy has a game like he did against Baltimore? I'm not saying a 4 interception game, but I'm saying like maybe like a 2-pick game.
No, because as well as they played against the Cowboys, wide receivers. You know, I think that the way that the Packers, the way that San Francisco plays with their wide receivers is a lot different. So I'm expecting it to still be, you know, we got Debo, Brandon Ayuk. I don't think there's anybody on that team that can cover Brandon Ayuk outside of J.R. Alexander.
I think he's on contract here too.
Yeah, but then you still gotta cover Debo. You gotta cover Kittle, McCaffrey out the backfield. You still got Trent Williams to your left, and the whole offensive line feeds off of him. So it's still very hard for me to sit here and act like Green Bay is going to be able to hold that up with the type of defense that they've played this season. They had a good game against the Cowboys, but I think a lot of that was the Cowboys, less the Packers. You feel me?
Yeah.
But that's the question I wanted to get to, Jared. We saw Philly collapse, and basically drag their bodies through a dominant showing against that the Bucs had against them. We saw the Cowboys, fight for that second seed, get home field advantage, and then lose in the first round again for the third straight year. 2 of these years have been at home, losing in there. So with this loss and the Eagles loss, which is more damaging of a loss to the franchise? Like, who do you think these losses hurt more? Do you think the loss from Dallas hurts Dallas more, or do you think that the Eagles loss hurts the Eagles more?
I think the Philly loss hurts more.
Why is that?
Because you look how they started and look how they ended, and then they're just not there anymore. They like you said, they drugged themselves through all the way. They basically limped into the playoffs to limp out the playoffs.
Yeah.
So Dallas is Dallas. So it's not surprising that they lost.
Well, the question isn't about who's more surprising. It's more about who's it damaged more. And I'll be honest, I think this is more damaging for Dallas. That they fought and clawed their way to getting the division title and getting a 2 seed. They whooped ass at home all year long, Jared. Undefeated at home. Didn't lose a game at home. So, and then you go out there and it's 27-7 at halftime. How demoralizing is that, bro?
Philly fans were not Philly fans. Dallas fans were already leaving at halftime from videos.
That's what I'm saying. Like, bro, it is so demoralizing to go 3 straight years of 12 wins or more, go to the playoffs 3 straight times, twice at home, and lose in the first round all those years. And then they still plan on keeping Mike McCarthy. That's crazy. Like, this is so damaging to the Cowboys because now this is going to give people incentive to play up against the Cowboys in the playoffs because that they think that the Cowboys are going to play down because they've shown nothing but doing that. It's terrible to me, bro. It's I think this is so damaging for Dallas to do what they did, to fight like they did, and then to just get pulverized by a 7 seed. First time in NFL history since we've had that 7 seed added to the playoffs. First time a 7 seed has beaten a 2 seed. So, no, this has to be Dallas with a more damaging loss. It just has to be, at least in my opinion. All right.
Do you think McCarthy's getting power taken away from him? You think he's just gonna be strictly head coach and he's not calling plays no more? Or
they got to do something.
All right. Well, since they're keeping
and
McCarthy,
to be honest with you, don't get me wrong. The offense played like shit, but that defense couldn't stop a cold. Like they couldn't. The fucking Packers were running down their throat, as it shows with 21 carries for 118 yards with Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
They were running the ball down their throat.
And when Dallas was losing on the road, how were they losing?
Getting ran on. Yep.
I mean, look with the Miami game. Miami ran all over them.
The Buffalo game. Buffalo ran all over them.
Buffalo. I don't know about the Cardinals game. I don't know what James Conner finished with or what the rushing stats were for that one, but I mean, they lost that game too.
Yeah.
And and one more thing before we move on to the next game. I mean, Dallas beat up on a lot of bad teams, like New England.
They did. I do agree with that. The Giants, the Commanders.
Yeah.
They did face the Panthers. They did face a lot of Chargers. A lot of their teams were cupcake teams.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move it on. We got the Lions. They hold off the Rams, win 24-23. Jared Goff goes 22-27, 277, and a touchdown. I thought it was a great game. I was at Tracy's for this game. Yeah, me and him watched this one. I will say this, man. They had some bad calls in that game, bro, from the refs on both sides. It was bad. Ford Field was rocking. Man, they had so many people going crazy. The Lions won. You had people crying. They're showing this guy who had been a Lions season ticket holder for 60-something years, like 65 plus years. He had been a season ticket holder. This is the first time he's ever seen them win a playoff game at home. I'm pretty sure.
That's fucking nuts, dude.
Yeah, it was crazy. You got to give the Lions props. On the flip side, the Rams, they were real close. They were a hot team coming in. Puka Nacua went absolutely stupid in this game. Broke the receiving record for a rookie in a playoff game.
Most catches by a rookie in a season. Most yards by a rookie in a season. What else was there? I think more yards after the catch by a rookie this season.
Yeah, he went stupid, bro.
Listen to this. So I heard earlier on one of the Dynasty shows I listened to, they were saying, would you rather have Puka Nacua or the 101 in Dynasty? Because they were saying essentially you're hoping Marvin Harrison Jr. is what Puka becomes.
Yeah, that's true.
And Puka got drafted as the wide receiver 75, and he's possibly going to go now as the top 15.
Whew.
Yeah. So that's what people are hoping for Marvin Harrison when he comes out to what Puka can do.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. No, I definitely agree with that. I won't be surprised if Marvin Harrison comes out like that, but there's high expectations on him. There was no expectations on Puka Nacua.
Yeah.
Not like this. So it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different when a guy exceeds expectations to the level that he did. It also helps having a guy like Cooper Kupp out there, taking a lot of the decoys and stuff like that away so that Puka Nacua could work. So, I mean, that man was breaking tackles left and right. I don't know if he was watching his runs after the catches, but man, every single time he touched the ball, he's breaking at least one or two tackles.
No,
It
they
was
had
insane.
it out for him at one point. There was one point where it was a defensive holding, pass interference, and then a late hit all on Puka.
Yeah, it was bad. But Jared, does this game that you saw from the Lions, does it give you confidence or concern with the Lions moving forward?
Both, I would say both. Uh, I guess I'll start with the confidence. It just seems like the confidence is building more and more, and they can hang with whoever they want.
Yeah. I
Basically,
mean, they beat a good team, regardless of what you think of the Rams and their 6th seed. They were still a good team. They were hot playing really good football at the end of the year. Nobody expected them to be in the situation that they were in either. But
I
you
think they're
got
still pissed
Matt
off about the
Stafford
Dallas game.
Matt Stafford still had a great game. You know what I mean? They just didn't have enough to win it. So like I was saying though, where does the concern lie?
The concern is you were, having your way with the Rams, and then you let them hang around and drop 23 points on y'all and come back within 1 point of winning the game. So if you do that against who do they play, Tampa next?
Yeah.
So I mean, if you do that to Tampa may fuck around and come back and win. And if you hold off Tampa, San Francisco will definitely do that to you.
Yeah, my biggest concern I'll say this, it showed me a little bit of confidence, that like you said, that they can hang around with any team, but I have a bit more concern than I have a confidence, because while Jared Goff had a pretty good game, when the Packers were bringing pressure, he was playing absolutely terrible football, making horrible decisions with the ball. When the Packers were getting pressure on him, it's like he was like a little kid, in a cornfield and just had no idea what to do. Like it was bad. It really was. So, while yes, the 22-27 looks good, he also got sacked a good deal as well. He had a fumble that was recovered by his lineman, but they lost. He was getting sacked, right, by two guys, and decides to just kind of like pass it like that. It goes backwards, and the guy misses it, so it's a fumble, and the ball bounces back more. So instead of taking like a 7-yard sack, they lost like 12 on the play completely. And it was like 2nd and 22 or 2nd and 23, something like that. It was crazy.
I never understood why quarterbacks decided to just throw the ball backwards. I mean,
he was trying to get rid of it. He thought he was trying to throw it. He thought he was trying to throw it forward. I mean, the Rams had 3 sacks against the Lions. Like I said, now there was no turnovers, but that was a backwards pass that was basically a fumble. You know what I mean? That was recovered, like I said, by his own lineman. So when you bring pressure on Jared Goff, he's played terrible, and I think that's what Tampa Bay is going to have to do in order to hang around in this game is get pressure on Jared Goff, because he does not make smart decisions with the football when he's under pressure. So all right, we got one more game. I know you didn't really want to talk about it, but we're gonna. The Bills, they win.
I got something for the game. Just go ahead.
Bills went over the Steelers 31-17. Josh Allen, 277 total yards between passing and running. 4 total touchdowns. He had 3 passing, 1 rushing touchdown. I don't know if you saw the rushing touchdown, but people are trying to say that he faked the slide. I didn't really.
That's what I was about to bring up.
I didn't really see. It didn't look like a fake. Not like Kenny Pickett's was. What Kenny Pickett did, he literally slid his foot, making it look like he was going to slide, and then started running again. Josh Allen, there was nobody within 5 yards of him when he started doing what he did.
Did you see the view of him actually running downfield, like towards the camera, or did you see the sideline view?
I saw the sideline view.
Okay, I saw both of them. I saw him like running towards the camera. There's no attempt to fucking slide. He's just
Yeah, he kind of just like he like stutter stepped and was like trying to figure out what he wanted to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he didn't fake the slide and then start running again. He
There
just
was no-
stopped.
yeah.
Where am I going? And then he ran around everybody.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
So the whole
I didn't
fake
really.
slide thing, I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, I didn't think that was a fake slide at all, or even an attempt at a fake slide. But I mean, they still played well. They ran the ball effectively. No TJ Watt in this game, though, obviously. So they went up pretty early. It was 21-7, I think, at halftime. And then each team scored 10 in the second half. But Jared, did this prove that the Bills are the most dangerous team still in the playoffs?
The most or one of the most?
The most dangerous team still in the playoffs. Because of how well, like when they get it going, they get it going. And it's very, man, they can score in bunches and they can hold teams to low scoring.
Yeah.
So, but that's only if they can get it going. So that's why I'm asking you, being a 2 seed, I mean, you're hoping for the Texans to beat the Ravens so that you could play a home game for an AFC championship. But,
But you still got to face 15.
Yeah, you still got to face 15, but that's what I'm saying. So are the Bills, did they prove that they're still the most dangerous team in the playoffs?
I wouldn't say the most. I would say one of the most. Because I would say Houston is up there. Because, like, what we've seen all season is their ability to score whenever the fuck they want.
I still think that Buffalo's better than the Texans.
I do, too. It just – all the injuries they have on defense right now, regardless of who they're going to go up against, I feel like there's going to – it could very well turn out to be a shootout, especially if they play Houston.
Yeah.
Like, if let's say they beat Kansas City. All right, cool. You beat Kansas City. You still got to face Stroud. And from what we've seen, Stroud and hitting that offense is no slouch right now.
No, you're right. You're definitely right. I definitely agree with that.
On top of that, you would have a Devin Singletary revenge game in the playoffs, back in Buffalo.
Eesh.
So, yeah.
That's terrible.
I mean,
It's actually terrible.
I mean, honestly, it's all like, if you can get Diggs the ball too, and if you can get James Cook going, you have a very good shot. Because if you look at it, Josh Allen is the main reason you won the fucking game.
Yeah. Josh Allen has to play like elite Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
In order to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, that's what you have to do. You have to play like elite Josh Allen. You can't turn the ball over. You can't have turnover Allen.
And that Shakir touchdown that Buffalo had, if those 4 defensive players could have tackled him, you're not looking at 31-17. You're looking at possibly, what was it then?
24-17.
Yeah, you're possibly looking at 27.
Yeah,
or no,
27-17.
Yeah. Yeah, and you still have a shot. But at that point,
what's crazy though? I told Tracy, you can ask Tracy this too. I told him when we met, I was like, the most guaranteed game this weekend was -10 with Buffalo. Like no TJ Watt. Like there was no way you could tell me that the Bills weren't going to score 30 plus, and I had no faith in Steelers scoring 20 something.
Right.
So, I mean, I kind of agree. Excuse me. I kind of agree with you in the sense that I don't think that they're the most dangerous team completely, but I
really
do think
haven't
that they're
seen Baltimore either.
That's what I'm saying. I think that they're the second most dangerous team. I think they're more dangerous than Baltimore because of how effective that offense can be when it rolls.
Yeah.
But I think San Francisco is still the most dangerous team in this what's it called? In the playoffs. They're still the most dangerous team in the playoffs.
That's why I was saying AFC.
Yeah. I think that they could be the most dangerous team in the AFC. But in the playoffs as a whole, it's hard not to say San Francisco, bro. It really is. Regardless of how you feel about them or anything like that, the San Francisco team as a whole is top loaded with roster talent. It's insane. They have so much high level talent on that field. So, and they have a high level coach. So it's very hard to say that they're not the most dangerous team. Outside of quarterback, I think San Francisco has a better wide receiver group. I think they have better running backs. I think they have the better offensive line. I think they have a better defense. They have better linebackers. They're about the same when it comes to corners. I do like Poyer or Pryor, whatever his name is for the Bills.
You had it right.
But Hufanga for San Francisco, still a really good safety.
He's hurt.
Yeah, he's hurt though. But
no, he's done. You heard me?
Yeah, he's out for the playoffs. Yeah.
Yeah, he I think tore his ACL, MCL.
Yeah, he messed up his leg. But I mean, yeah, man, it doesn't surprise me one bit that people have talked highly on the Bills, but it's still. I looked at this win the same way I looked at the Kansas City win. You did what you were supposed to do against the team you were supposed to do it against. You feel what I'm saying? There was no way Miami was supposed to beat the Chiefs, and there was no way that the Steelers were supposed to beat the Bills. Okay, so it's not like you beat them 31-10, 31-7. Kansas City held them to 7, but they scored 26, I think it was. And they got held to a lot of field goals that should have been touchdowns. So I think this game with the Bills and the Chiefs is going to be obviously it's going to be a classic.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll see the Bills come out on top. All right. Anything else you wanted to add, Jared?
Nah, I think that's it for tonight. It's cold as shit.
Yeah, I know. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Obviously, as always, we appreciate everybody who comes in here, talks in the chat. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff they do here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. If y'all haven't already, please go check out the Sharps app. Really dope app about with sports betting. You can go in there. It's kind of like an Instagram, Facebook for sports betting. It's really dope. You go in there, you can see who's betting. Live bets, winners, losers. That way, you can build up like a statistical portfolio. Like I have my own stats that I look at before I pick games, before I do all that other stuff. So, it's really dope. You gotta go check it out. The code's at the bottom of the screen right here. Sharps code JRAD344. That's JRAD344. Y'all go sign up today. Thank y'all for coming in. And we will be back either Friday or Saturday. We'll post about it. Saturday might be a little bit earlier because I have work that night. So I have work during the playoffs, so it sucks. But I'll be okay. Jared, you're muted if you're trying to talk. There you go.
I don't know how it happened.
It happens. But thank y'all for tuning in, and we will see y'all on the next show. And as always, Jared, get us out.